Ever wondered how finding balance between light and dark can lead to a life full of gratitude and positivity? Hi, everyone, and welcome to my channel. So basically, it's just learning of the overall is basically just learning the balance between light and dark means accepting both the positive and negative aspects of life. You can't have one without the other. It's acknowledging that both are essential for personal growth and raising your vibration and creating the energy that's super powerful inside you. And so with this, it's like creating that emotional resilience. So embracing, embracing life's ups and downs builds emotional resilience. So then that when we have both light and dark and we're able to balance them both, it is able to equip us for the future with challenges in the future and ups and downs in the future. And so for me, so a story for me would be, I used to have a huge group of friends and we did a lot of things together. And when I started going after my singing career, and then I created a release party after my album release, my first album release. And I realized that none of them were actually there for me. So I didn't hear from them, or they didn't text me. They didn't wish me well. They didn't have any encouraging words. A lot of some of them even said that, the music industry is hard. So it's like I didn't have very much positivity. And so it hurt and it was very painful to get through. But through that, I learned, so that was the dark. And so through that, I learned those who actually showed up or texted me or called me, wished me well, encouraged me, those were my true friends. And those were the people that actually were going to stick through this with me. And so that's the light part. I mean, yes, of course, it was painful knowing that I'm going to lose a bunch of friends because they're not true friends. But at the same time, I was grateful. I knew now that they were not going to be there for me, because then it's not worth my time and energy to put into that relationship if they're not willing to put the time and energy into me. I'm not saying they had to show up at my release party, but even like a small text or, oh, good luck or something like that. It just would have been appreciated. And so, another thing that I learned was that I learned through that friends group that I was always trying to fit in or feel accepted. And it took a lot of energy. I wasn't able to be myself. I got criticized for being myself, or people were upset the way I was. So there was no point for me to, take the time and spend the effort, even though it was painful, and realizing that there are friends that I had for years. But I had to learn very fast that not everybody in this life are going to be friends, going to be your friends. And a lot of times they don't last your whole life. If you do have a friend that lasts for your whole life, then wow, that's incredible and good, amazing. And I'm proud of you. And that's because that's a lot of give and take in a relationship. And that's an amazing relationship. So hold on to them. And so basically, I also learned that I don't need a lot of friends. So I don't need a quantity of friends. I'd rather have quality. So people that actually want to, encourage me, be there for me, and I want to be there for them, because I can't just have it all be selfish on my part. But it's just learning the balance between relationships and understanding that they need something from me and I need something from them, just a give and take. But basically, like, the story is like I had to go through the dark of losing friends in order to see the light and who is actually there for me. And so it was very eye-opening and a very cool lesson to learn. But I mean, it was painful at the time, and I understand that not every lesson is fun. But I learned a lot about not only myself, but the people around me and who I surround myself with. So I hope that helps. But yeah, just remember that, there's always light and dark in our lives, and ups and downs, and it's okay. And we all can get through them together, especially in a community. So So another way for like balancing light and dark is to embrace life's contrasts. So this is part of the polarity thing. So basically, your life is full of contrast. So joy and sorrow, success and failure, love and loss. And embracing these contrasts help us appreciate this full spectrum of our experience. So with like joy and sorrow, like think about a time you experienced great joy after a period of sadness. And then that joy felt more profound because of the contrast. And so that's very important because you appreciate the joy more and the positivity more, through the darkness and through the sorrow, basically. And then, success and failure. This one's very prominent, so failures teach us, valuable lessons, and our successes become more meaningful because of the failures we've gone through, or the lessons that we've learned along the way. So every setback is a setup for a comeback. So, and it's okay. We all go through these ups and downs. Don't let your quote unquote failures define you. It doesn't mean anything. It's what you do with learning from that failure that matters. So it's like you learn from the failures to create your successes, because your successes, are from personal growth and resilience. And it makes it so much better, and you become proud of yourself in that moment. So for me, a story would be like I had an ex-boyfriend who was emotionally and verbally abusing me and basically gaslighting me, thinking I was always wrong and I was always at fault. And then when I met my now husband, I started realizing that, oh, the relationships don't have to be like this, that the abusive one. And so hanging out with, my to-be hubby, I realized that I don't deserve the kind of abuse and the trauma that my ex is causing me. And so I finally had the courage to move out. And I'm so grateful that I did go through that experience, because then I was able to see, not only what could have happened if I were to have married my ex, or if I had stayed in that relationship, it could have gotten worse. And it could have gone from emotional and verbal abuse to physical. And I never wanted to get stuck in something like that, but I couldn't see it because I was so blocked in like just despair, because I had no self-worth because of that relationship, because I always thought it was my fault. And eventually that gets to you, and it mentally it can cause you like depression, low self-esteem, you're not happy with yourself, and you're sitting there wondering what happened. What is it really my fault? I can't believe it's always my fault, so stuff like that. And so just hanging out with my, now, who is my now husband, after like 4 years, I realized that I didn't want someone like my ex. So I didn't want someone who was narcissistic or abusive in any form. Like that was just a definite no. After that relationship ended, I knew I definitely didn't want to go through that again. So I learned that lesson, but I had to go through that dark to appreciate the light, and I had to appreciate the love and support that I now get from my husband. And he was always encouraging me and pushing me to do better, and wasn't doing what my ex was, and always making me feel wrong or bad or like I did something wrong. And so it's having to go through those traumas and ups and downs, and that we learn, and we see what's amazing on the other side, and we see the love that can be basically. So, but yeah, so that was an amazing story. But for those 2 years I was with my ex, I went through a lot of trauma, and I carried it into my relationship with my now husband. And so it's just learning both the light and dark, and understanding and being aware of it, and just moving forward, and realizing that there is positives, and that we do not deserve to be hurt or abused or harassed or in anything that's negative. No one deserves that. So I hope you all know that. I just want you to remember that getting through the rough times shows us how powerful and resilient we are, and it causes growth and inspiration and empowerment. So we have to go through the dark to see the beauty of the light. So think about it like this. If we were always in the light, we will forget that we're in the light because there's no contrast. Therefore, it becomes the norm or comfortable. But if there is light and dark together, you will appreciate and have gratitude for the light so much more. So just, there has to be a balance. There is literally a balance in everything in our life. So I just want you to know that. Ways to work through balancing the light and dark in our lives is to find gratitude in things. So basically the role of gratitude is like a perspective shift. So when gratitude causes you to shift your focus from what's lacking to what's present and what is in the now. It helps us see, even like in tough times, what's good, and that there's always something to be grateful for. So it's practicing the mindfulness of gratitude, because it makes us more present to what's going on now, and not focusing on the past or the present, the past and the future. And it enhances like our overall well-being. So it's like just changing your perspective on how we deal with life and creating, if something's negative, and we create the positive aspects of it or something else so that it gets you off of the negative part, then it's amazing how it can shift your mind. I know that it works for me. So some like practical tips for gratitude is like a gratitude journal. So it's like, start one of those and write down like at least 3 things that you're grateful for each day, no matter how small. It could be like, I woke up today on time, or I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for the job that I have, whether you love it or not. It's providing you stability, so it's a big one. It's also, I ate well today. I kept to my calories. I worked out this morning. And so after a while, like all these positive and gratitude sayings, as you writing it or speaking them out loud, or even praying about them, and or being in meditation, then it'll eventually cause your brain to switch over into gratitude or thankfulness, or at least if you're having a bad day, it'll lower your reaction to things, and also create like a calm and like a contentness in your life. So it's like, another thing is like gratitude meditation, or just meditation in general, is incorporating gratitude in while you're actually meditating, and focus on what you're thankful for. And then even sometimes getting yourself out of your own head and being grateful for someone else and speaking it to them. It gets you out of your head and your negative situation, and puts it on like being grateful for someone else and expressing that to somebody else. And so it will make someone else feel better, and therefore it'll make you feel better. Hopefully that made sense. And it can also help strengthen relationships, because if you're grateful for somebody, they know that you are thinking about them. If you never tell them that, then a lot of times they might not even know how you actually feel. So just remember to, say I love you, or be thankful for them, or express your affection for them, just so they know that you love them or you care for them. So I think that's really important. For me, I find that like if I'm having a tough day or a bad day, a lot of times I take 5 to 10 minutes to either write down what I'm thankful for, or I meditate, or I write in my journal all the stuff that's just driving me crazy, or I'm upset, or in a negative attitude around something. It's an out for me, so that I can get it all out of my head and just sit with it. And it can only take like 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a long thing or drawn out thing. But it creates a calmness over me so that like I'm less reactive through the day, especially if I'm having if I'm in a bad mood. And then it's like I realize that life could be worse. So it's the fact that I'm in the situation that I am and it's not much worse, or it's not where I'm like, let's say, like if I'm mad that I'm not happy where my finances are. It's like put it into perspective that someone else doesn't have a car, someone else can't even pay rent, just or buy food or get gas. It's just something that it's like, don't forget that your life is not as bad as you think. And so it also creates an empowerment for me throughout the day, and knowing that just because today is not going well, tomorrow will be better. So it's me putting it out to the world that tomorrow is going to be a better day. There is a transformative power going through adversity. So when you go through adversity, there is some sort of growth or expansion on the other side of whatever that adversity is. It pushes us out of our comfort zone and helps us discover our strengths. In the darkness, I find that there's always a lesson to learn, which means there's always a growth or some sort of expansion in your life. And you can be proud of it because you went through it and you came out on the other side. So basically, going through tough times, this builds resilience, and it shows us that we can overcome any challenges and emerge stronger. In the midst of it, I know it might not feel like that, but you got this, and there is a way out, and there are always people who are going through much worse. I'm learning, like, as humans, we really can truly get through anything. I've met people who have lost their legs and they were in a pure depression, and then were able to create a message of empowerment through it, or make jokes about it. And it's amazing to watch them then teach others and help others who are going through the same thing. It's so powerful. The fact that you've gone through traumas just means that you're a powerful being, and you can help so many people through their traumas or their negative parts of their lives, or their downs in their lives, or their darks. And so there's always a way out of it, and there's always someone who can help you through a similar experience. I mean, it's just like, even when parents or mothers lose their children to something, and it's horrible, but they find a way to push through, and that they will see their child on the other side, when they go. So it's super powerful. I just want you all to know that, there's always somebody who can help you. For me, a story for me that I've overcome adversity and become more transformative or grown a lot was, it's like my whole life I've been, bullied, harassed, teased, judged, and criticized my whole life. And I've been dealing with medical issues my whole life, like painful hip dysplasia that I had to have both of my hips reconstructed. When I was going through, the bones healing, I learned that I have osteopenia, which is a precursor to osteoporosis. I've had cyst bursts, I've had endometriosis, I have a lot of digestive issues since birth, and there's a lot of times that I don't feel well on the regular, and then I've had, mood swings or alcohol issues, and there were times in my life that I got so low and depressed that I was wondering, like, why am I here? I don't even want to live anymore, kind of feeling. And then I just never felt good, and I was always selfish. And I never fit in anywhere, never. And so after, I knew, it's like I had this internal knowing that there has to be something more to life. So it's like I went through some personal development training, and I realized that I can choose the way I want to live. So if I want to be in victim mode and pout and dwell on the negatives, then that's my choice. But there is, on the other side of that, if I like, let's say I want to go for my dreams, then I need to work on getting out of that mindset of victimhood, or, oh, it's never going to happen, because then my dreams will never come true if I'm always in that state. So I've had to learn to figure out a way to not only like work on my mental and physical health on the regular, but work on my mindset, and because my thoughts are what create my world, and it's because of those thoughts that cause me to take the action that I take. So if they're negative thoughts and it's like as if there's no way I could do this, then I'm not going to take the action steps towards the dream that I want. And so instead, I work on creating positive, like either affirmations or meditation, or just ways to elevate my mindset, so that I'm in the possibility, oh, it can happen. It will happen. I just have to have faith and just keep taking the steps towards it, and not have a timeline of like, oh, I have to have it done by this time. If it's truly something I want, then I know I have to go after it no matter what. And I can't sit there and be like, oh, I'm only going to do it for 5 years. Like, I know I have a purpose in this life, no matter what my brain tells me, a lot of times. So it's just keeping at it. And so what I'm trying to say is that basically embracing both the light and the dark leads to like a deeper appreciation for life, and you become more resilient. And it's super powerful how we can create our world, and how we can transform our world from dark to light. And it makes it easier when we learn how to do that, to go get through the dark, because then you have the tools and the mindset to push through and push yourself to the light. So there's nobody coming for you. You have to work on it on your own. I had to learn that the hard way, because everyone was always doing something for me, and said I had to start taking responsibility and accountability for my life. If I wanted something, then I had to go after it and get it myself. Just to recap, today we talked about balancing light and dark, embracing life's contrasts, finding gratitude, and experience transformation through adversity. Reflect on your own experiences and find ways to appreciate both the good and the bad. There's always something to be grateful, I promise. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Like, how have you found balance in your life? So yeah, I would love to hear from you. Let me know. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of this journey. Remember, you have the power to find light even in the darkest of times. Stay positive and keep on shining.